Collecturbation time. And as you may have surmised by now, we are going to go with Alice Cooper's Love It to Death from 1971.
Alice Cooper, Love It to Death, 1971. A triumph for the band on many levels. Love It to Death is the fruit of a reboot of sorts. Producer Bob Ezrin tirelessly whip-cracked his new obsession into a tighter, fuller sound, while manager Shep Gordon transformed them from Syd Barrett and Grandma's Nightgown to leather-clad sickos escaped from a lockup, aspirations to become the most hated band of the 70s.
Not that there was a problem with the first two records. I mean, many fans enjoyed them. Okay, a select few. Okay, it was just me. But anyway, Ezrin turns up the guitars. Riffs of Bruce and Buxton like the pillars of this thundering designer boot kick to the head. Something like the 9-minute freak out of Black Juju. Isn't too far a cry from the early material. A creeping snake charmer jam from congas and organs. The golden riffing and vocal sass of Is It My Body, which we're going to play for in a minute. The lilting open chords and evocative lyrics of I'm 18. And the theatrical sonics of The Ballad of Dwight Fry, which we're also going to play for you. A brain-sick epic roaring to life in one of rock's greatest arrangements, pianos, bluesy guitar bends, and Alice's straight-jacketed screams. He actually was wearing a straitjacket, supposedly, when he recorded it. Mushrooming endlessly, all key ingredients in this campy rock and roll masterpiece.
The album is solid from front to back, every song offering at least a minute or two of goosebump-raising guitar solos or iconic choruses. Plus, the more annoying aspects of Ezrin's production hasn't fully blossomed yet, so there aren't choirs of children or lengthy sound effects to wade through in order to get to the good stuff.
Over time, you will realize that very little things you'll hear in life is as good as Love It to Death. So let's play a song. This is It My Body?
Have you got the time to find out who I really am? Whoa.
Okay, enough of our yakking. Before I read this, this is an excerpt from Shep Gordon's book, came out like 2017, 2016, called Supermensch. But before that, I tried to find this online. I can't find it. I had seen an interview with Bob Ezrin years ago about how he came to work with Alice Cooper. Okay, he had never produced any other band before. He went and saw them in New York City, and it was this incredible show. It was like a cult thing. Everybody had black eyeliner. Everybody had black nail polish. It was very theatrical. And he just thought, this band is just going to take over the world. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Very gothy, you know. So supposedly he went to go sign the band at their farmhouse, which was, I forget what state it was. It was like in upstate New York, I think. And he said that when he got there, you know, he walks into one room and there's just like piles of androgynous bodies naked on top of each other in this bed, crashed out. The dishes are piled to the ceiling with bugs crawling all over them. He turned around and there was just someone standing there in a frog suit. And he said, "Hi, is this Alice Cooper Band's house?" And the man said, "Ribbit," and walked away. He went to turn the light on and was holding a cock and balls in his hand that was on the wall. So there's more to the story. I wish I could have found it because it's great. I don't know why. It might have been on Eddie Trunk or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so this is the excerpt from They Call Me Supermensch. They wanted to get for their big third album, they wanted to get the Guess Who producer, Jack Richardson. But what happened was they ended up with Bob Ezrin. They had a big show in New York, like I mentioned. Bob Ezrin came. We found out later that Richardson had hired him the very day we met him, that he had never produced an album, and that Richardson had sent him to the Nimbus 9 lobby that day saying, "There is no way in the world I'm going to produce this band. They're horrible. Go out there and get rid of them." Instead, he caught a great show at the scene. The hip New York audience loved everything about Alice Cooper, and that the Los Angeles audiences had hated. Bob went back to Toronto, determined to convince Richardson to produce the next album. So that's what happened. He actually came back and he said, "I signed them," and they were like ready to fire him. So that is how Alice Cooper came to work with Bob Ezrin. And this song is called The Ballad of Dwight Fry.
is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.